For watercolour painting, I always use a piece of plywood that I've coated with 2 coats of polyurethane varnish to make them waterproof. I also then use a small dish of clean water and some good quality gummed paper tape. Good art quality tape is what's best to use, certainly not masking tape or parcel tape, and pre-cut the tape to the sides of the paper. I soak the paper for 10 to 15 minutes, generally speaking not very much more than that, because I don't want to lose the sizing that the manufacturers have placed on the paper. I smooth out the paper on the board, give it a quick squeegee with a sponge to flatten it down, and then I can start applying the gummed tape. I don't apply too much water to the gum tape, just a light stroke with a damp sponge is usually quite sufficient. I then place the tape at least 20mm, 2 centimeters over the edge of the paper and firm it down to give it a good seal. I treat each of the 4 sides in the same manner. It's important not to overwet the gum tape, because that will then affect the seal and the paper will just lift off when it goes through the drying and therefore the shrinking process. The sizing that the manufacturer places on the paper is quite important for watercolour. If you soak the paper for too long, then the sizing is removed and the paper becomes more like a blotting paper, which can be quite useful under certain circumstances. But for conventional watercolour, it's best to keep to the kind of sizing that the manufacturer intended. Once all 4 sides of the gum tape are in place, you can leave the board overnight to dry naturally. It's important not to dry it artificially with a hairdryer or in front of a fire, because this can cause the gummed tape to fail. Any ripples in the paper that appear when it is wet will disappear as the board dries out naturally.